Today, we're diving into a really powerful story from Theodore Dreiser's novel, The Stoic. It's this incredible tale about a man who, basically conquered the entire world of finance and power, only to find out he couldn't conquer himself.
So, right from the start, you get the picture. Here's a guy with this unstoppable, invincible will, and he's just run headfirst into a wall he can't break through, can't bribe, can't buy his way around. And that wall? It's his own mortality. This is the ultimate showdown between ambition and cold, hard reality.
So we're going to walk through this cautionary tale in 5 parts. First, we'll see the Titan's final battle. Then, the empire he built on just things. We'll watch its great collapse, follow the search for a different kind of order, an inner order. And finally, we're going to ask the most important question of all. What is it that can't be auctioned?
All right, let's start at the beginning with our main guy, Frank Cowperwood. He's a true titan of industry, but he's about to step into his very last and completely unwinnable fight.
Just think about the irony here for a second. Every single problem this man had ever faced in his life, he could solve it, with money, with influence, with sheer force of will. But now, he's up against an opponent that literally doesn't care about his billions or his power. All his usual tools are completely useless.
So what does a guy like Cowperwood do when he's faced with a problem he can't solve? Well, he does what he's always done. He tries to solve it the only way he knows how, by building something he thinks is going to outlast him.
His strategy is, it's simple and it's tragically flawed. He basically thinks, okay, if I can't live forever, maybe my name can, my legacy, my taste. He's trying to throw a material solution at a deeply existential problem.
And the scale of what he's trying to do is just staggering. This wasn't some casual hobby. He was systematically buying up objects he thought were eternal. Masterpieces of art that had already been around for centuries. He was literally trying to build a fortress of order, made out of beautiful things, to hold back the chaos and just being forgotten. And this really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? His will, all his energy, it's all pointed outward, at getting things, at controlling his legacy after he's gone. He's pouring everything he has into what is, at the end of the day, the most expensive and totally useless strategy you could possibly imagine.
So, now we get to the inevitable part. What happens to this meticulously built empire when its one and only architect is suddenly gone? Well, chaos wins.
Because here's the thing. Cowperwood's entire system, his businesses, his art collection, all of it was held together by one single thread. His personal, selfish will. The second that's gone, the whole thing has no foundation. It's just guaranteed to fall apart. And look how fast it happens. It's practically instantaneous. The day he dies, the fight for his stuff begins. Within a week, his family is at war. Within a month, his entire life's work is in total chaos. And in just 6 short months, the whole shebang goes up on the auction block. The speed of the collapse is just mind-blowing.
And that's it. One single word sums up the fate of his so-called immortal legacy. All those priceless treasures he thought would cement his name in history, they're just reduced back to money and chance, scattered to whoever happened to have the highest bid.
And this, right here, is the huge lesson from the auction. His collection wasn't some permanent fortress against chaos. Nope, it was more like a temporary dam. And the moment his will was gone, the floodgates just burst open and washed everything away.
But the story doesn't just end in this pile of rubble. Cowperwood's lover, a woman named Berenice, she sees this whole thing happen. She watches it all collapse. And instead of making the same mistakes, she learns from them. She chooses a completely different path. So let's break this down. You have 2 totally opposite ways of thinking. Cowperwood, he looked for order on the outside through things. His goal was control. But Berenice, she turns inward. She looks for order on the inside through spiritual development, and her goal? It's understanding. His way was fragile. Hers is built to last.
So what exactly is this inner order? Well, think of it as a state of being that you build inside yourself using your own conscious will. It has nothing to do with what you own, it's all about who you are. And here's the most important part. Nobody can ever take it away from you because it doesn't depend on anything outside of yourself.
And this is where the story pivots and puts the spotlight directly on us, right? After seeing Cowperwood's epic failure and Berenice's quiet discovery, we're left to think about what all this means for our own lives.
So the question becomes really personal. What are you building? Are you building an external empire of stuff that's just destined to crumble? Or are you building an internal foundation that's designed to withstand, well, anything?
At the end of the day, Cowperwood's story is a massive warning sign. It's a warning against mistaking possessions for permanence. The real challenge, the real work, is to direct our will, our conscious energy, toward building something that actually truly lasts.
So how do we do that? The source material actually lays out a kind of framework, breaking it down into 3 steps. First, you have to recognize the trap of materialism, see its limits. Second, you turn your focus inward. And third, you consciously, deliberately build that inner strength, that foundation that can survive any storm life throws at you.
It really all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. It's both a warning and a guide. In everything you do, every choice you make, just focus on what cannot be sold at auction.